the sort of initial knee-jerk reaction when you have to leave photos, and sort of the disappointment.
Yeah, well, I actually, those were the photographs that were taken in the Volt studio of various team members. Some of the photos had Tony Posawatz on them, and others had Denise Gray and so forth. And they were nice photographs of people, but the card to the extent that it wasn't obscured, it didn't look very good. It was a bad camera angle, and they, I guess, used a wide-angle lens, and the thing looked all distorted. And you know, we got some negative reaction. To be honest, it didn't worry me because I knew that when people saw the real vehicle, they'd say, "Oh, well, it didn't look too good in photos, but I really kind of like the way it looks now." And in fact, that's exactly the reaction we've got. And even if the reaction to the styling had persisted, it still would have been okay because this is a case where Hanson is as Hanson does, and this vehicle was designed for a function. Now, most other vehicles that we do, I'm willing to sacrifice function for style. For instance, if you look at the Buick Enclave or the GMC Acadia or the Saturn Outlook, you look at it from the front or the back, they're shaped like this. They're absolutely A-shaped with the wheels way outside and the body sucked way in. That looks great and it makes them sell well, but if you really want, in terms of giving away space with a large vehicle, it's wasteful. We could have pulled the sides way out and gotten way more interior room and made the darn things look like a minivan. They would have been much more practical, far roomier, far more comfortable, and we wouldn't have sold any. So I will, when called for, willingly permit the designers to sacrifice some function for style because I always like to say I have never, ever seen a family shopping for a car with a tape measure in their hands. And the dad saying, "You know what, honey? This one's got 2 inches more rear shoulder room than that Chevrolet we looked at down the street. I think we'll take this one." And if the wife has any sense, she'll say, "Well, you may want this one, but I don't like the way it looks." And that's usually what it comes down to. But on the Volt, we were not going to sacrifice function because the primary function is selective performance. And that meant that we had to have a certain maximum frontal area. So the roof had to come down a little bit. The headroom is adequate, but it's not fantastic. We did suck the sides in a little to get the car to reduce the overall frontal area. And we are not going to use super wide tires because they have a bad aerodynamic influence also. So we're not going to use bicycle tires, but they're going to be relatively narrow tires. And those are all things that, I mean, the designers, they like the biggest wheels possible, the fattest tires. This time we just said, no, not going to happen because the electric mileage was the key factor in this car. And the Toyota Prius, certainly nobody ever accused it of being a beautiful car. But people buy it for its appearance. Now, isn't that strange? And if there was a Toyota Corolla that had exactly the same hybrid system and looked a lot better and got the same mileage, people would still buy the Prius because the Prius says, "I've got one and you don't, and I'm helping to save the planet and you're not." Whereas if they buy a much better looking Toyota with the same hybrid system, nobody notices. Nobody notices that they've made a financial sacrifice to reduce CO2 and preserve the earth for future generations. So the Prius becomes sort of like reverse chic. You know, it's desirable because of the statement that it makes. Reverse chic, reverse elegance. Or it's so far out, it's in.
My question regarding